It's surreal, isn't it? How the past can reach out and grab you, even after all these years. I'm Anna, 46, and what happened when I was 20 still casts a long shadow. That year, the ground shifted beneath my feet. My boyfriend, or rather, soon-to-be ex, was cheating on me with my own brother. Betrayal doesn't even begin to cover it. It was a gut-wrenching kind of pain, the kind that steals your breath and leaves you hollow. I told my brother then and there that he was dead to me, erased from my life. What stung even more was how my family responded. Or, rather, how they didn't. They continued their relationship with him, acting as if nothing had happened. I felt like they expected me to just move on, to pretend it was all water under the bridge. But I couldn't. I drew a line in the sand. I made it clear that I wouldn't be in the same room as him, and that if they ever had to choose between us at a gathering, they should choose him. That boundary has been my constant for over 2 decades. And now here we are, 26 years later, with my daughter planning her spring wedding. I foolishly thought time might have dulled the edges of that old pain, but I was wrong. Recently, she sat me down and, with unsettling calmness, told me she was inviting my brother and his family. The brother who betrayed me. The brother who married my ex-girlfriend. The shock of it was almost physical. She'd also been secretly cultivating a relationship with them for the past 4 years, a whole separate world I knew nothing about. She even wants her cousin, their daughter, to be the flower girl. I felt like the world was tilting on its axis. The anger, the resentment, it all came flooding back. I couldn't pretend. I told her that if he was invited, I wouldn't be there and I certainly wouldn't be contributing financially. Predictably, this didn't go down well. She accused me of clinging to the past, of making her wedding about my old grudges. The conversation escalated quickly, voices rising, hurtful words exchanged. She stormed off, in tears. It broke my heart to see her so upset, but I felt trapped. It felt as though my pain was being dismissed, as if all those years of hurt were irrelevant. I can't just pretend it didn't happen, can I? The pressure was already suffocating, and then the phone rang. It was my ex-wife, her voice sharp and laced with accusation. She called me insensitive, saying my daughter was devastated by my refusal. Then my parents chimed in, their voices a familiar chorus of disappointment. They thought I was being stubborn, urging me to let it go. I felt myself withdrawing, the familiar instinct to protect myself kicking in. I stopped answering their calls. My girlfriend, bless her heart, has been my anchor through all of this. She gently suggested I reconsider, maybe offer an apology to ease the tension. She worried that this stance could permanently damage my relationship with my daughter. Now I'm trapped in this emotional tug-of-war. My daughter's wedding is looming, a milestone I desperately want to be a part of. But then there's the unhealed wound, the deep betrayal from my brother that I've carried for so long. It keeps circling in my mind. Do I stand my ground, prioritizing my boundaries and the peace I've fought so hard to achieve? Or do I compromise, risking the reopening of old wounds for the sake of family harmony? This entire situation has left me feeling isolated, disconnected from my own family. I know that holding firm to my principles could cost me my daughter's love. I'm caught between the need to protect myself and the aching desire to be there for her on the most important day of her life. As I weigh my options, I'm desperately searching for a middle ground. Is there a way I can contribute, offer support, without being forced to confront my brother directly? Could I contribute financially, perhaps, but remain physically distant from the wedding itself? How do I even begin to have a conversation with my daughter, one that doesn't dissolve into more tears and recriminations? Am I being unreasonable? And then there were the online comments, a strange chorus of support amidst the chaos. They declared, "Not the idiot." One poster wrote that my daughter was willing to dismiss me for a person that betrayed my trust. It was all about the fact that it happened, which means she betrayed my trust. They said, if she wants him there so badly, he can pay. They were saying that my family needed a reality check. and asking what my daughter would do if her fiancé cheated on her with her sister tomorrow, moved on with the affair partner, and decided to stay close to him. They were all judging me, saying it's so easy for everyone to judge you when they're not in your shoes. They were saying in terms of the money, tradition or not, it's yours and you can do with it as you please. He supports his daughter his whole life and makes it clear his brother's no longer welcome in his life. His daughter betrays his trust and springs this on him while also expecting him to be a checkbook for her wedding. She's a grown woman. She can learn the consequences. It was probably the brother making sure OP's daughter likes him to get another one in. I can't stand my brother. And here's a thought that probably won't be popular. I just don't get why my daughter, Lily, felt the need to reconnect with the man who so profoundly betrayed her father. Why couldn't she just let old wounds stay closed? I know a lot of people won't see it my way, but if this drives a wedge between Lily and me, being right won't make me feel any better. I'm absolutely prepared to stand my ground, but I'm also acutely aware that doing so means potentially missing out on my future grandchildren's birthday parties, school plays, all the family milestones. My family could cut me off completely. If that's the price, then so be it, but it terrifies me. This betrayal happened 26 years ago, longer than Lily's even been alive. Of course, I'm annoyed that he's invited to the wedding. The thought of having to talk to him, pose for pictures, it's all infuriating. But sacrificing my relationship with my daughter over this feels like self-sabotage of the worst kind. So, here's my question to myself. He stole my girlfriend all those years ago. Am I going to let him steal my daughter, too? My future grandchildren? If the answer is no, then I need to swallow my pride, just for one day. Update 1 * get started as a completely ordinary Thursday. I envisioned a quick dinner, maybe catching up on my favorite show, just unwinding. But the second my key slid into the lock and I pushed the door open, I knew the evening was going to be anything but normal. There, in my living room, were the last two people on earth I ever expected to see, casually lounging on my couch. My brother, David, and his wife, Carol. The shock made my heart pound in my chest. David, the brother who'd stabbed me in the back so many years ago by sleeping with my girlfriend, who he eventually married. Sitting there like nothing had ever happened. I froze in the doorway, keys still clutched in my hand. What's going on? I finally managed to ask, my voice sounding foreign to my own ears. Lily was there too, looking caught between wanting to disappear and trying to explain. She jumped up, a nervous smile plastered on her face. "Hey, Mom, you're home early," she said, like that was the most remarkable thing. "Why are they here?" I asked, my eyes darting between David and Carol, still struggling to believe this was real. "Mom, I invited them. I thought it was time to work things out, before the wedding," Lily said, her voice hopeful, yet trembling slightly. "Work things out," I repeated, incredulous. The room felt stifling, the walls closing in as a familiar anger began to simmer within me. "You honestly think that after everything that happened, after what he did, we can just work things out like it's nothing?" David, who hadn't said a single word until now, finally spoke. His voice was calm, unsettlingly calm. "I know this is hard, but I just thought." His words hung in the air, and a wave of anger crashed over me. "Hard?" I interrupted, unwilling to grant him even a single word of his justification. "You think this is hard? You have absolutely no idea what you did. You shattered everything I held dear, and now you just waltz into my living room as if this is all some neighborly visit? How dare you?" Lily stepped between us, her hands raised in a placating gesture. "Mom, please, just hear him out. This is important to me. I want my wedding to be a celebration where our entire family comes together in happiness, not torn apart by the past." "He is not family," I stated, my voice firm, pointing a finger at my brother. "I severed that connection years ago, and nothing will ever change that." "And you," I turned to his wife, my voice dripping with ice, "you are no better, enabling him all the way." Silence descended on the room, thick and heavy like a suffocating blanket. I watched as Lily's face crumpled and tears welled in her eyes. Mom, why can't you just move past this? It has been years. Can't you see? You are only hurting yourself by clinging to old hurts. Old hurts. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. It felt hollow, devoid of any genuine amusement. These are not mere disagreements, Lily. These are deep wounds. This is about respect and trust, things that are earned, not given. And I gestured towards my brother with barely contained fury. He destroyed any semblance of either. But I am asking you, as your daughter, to try, for me, Lily pleaded, her voice breaking with each word. No, I can't. Not with him present. My voice was resolute, unyielding. I fixed my gaze on my brother and his wife. I want you to leave. Now. I don't want you here. But Mom, Lily began, her voice a desperate plea. I said now. The command erupted from me, louder than I intended. A tense moment stretched out, nobody moving. Then, slowly, deliberately, my brother and his wife rose to their feet. They offered no further argument as they turned and walked toward the door. But Lily's eyes remained locked on mine, filled with a mixture of hurt and accusation. You are going to regret this, she whispered, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. You are choosing your pride over your own daughter's happiness. The door closed with a soft click, but the sound reverberated through the suddenly vast emptiness of the living room. The silence that followed was deafening, leaving me feeling hollow and strangely alone. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat echoing the turmoil within me. Had I done the right thing? Sending them away, it felt like a terrible, irreversible act. Was I just being stubborn, letting an old argument, one that should have been resolved years ago, dictate my actions and potentially ruin my relationship with my daughter? The silence in the house now is deafening, a heavy blanket stifling any sense of peace. It's as if a piece of my own heart has been ripped out, leaving a raw, aching void within my family. And I'm paralyzed, unsure how to even begin mending it. Maybe I could have approached things differently. Perhaps, for Lily's sake, I should have swallowed my pride and simply listened. The what-ifs spin relentlessly in my head, each one adding weight to the burden of guilt I now carry. As I sink onto the couch, desperately trying to regain some semblance of composure, a chilling realization washes over me. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a long and difficult journey. Lily's wedding is supposed to be a celebration, a joyous occasion, but I fear I've just made the path leading to it even more treacherous.